Hi everyone, welcome to WIC channel. My name is Rafad. On this video, I'll be talking about pretty much one of the huge factors which I think will and could possibly cause a huge recession. And it's not in the media outlets. It's like pretty much in the back end, and no one is really noticing it. And I don't see it happening in the next 6 months. I would say maybe next year or two. And I really hope it does not happen, but honestly, we are kind of heading that way right now. And the big thing for me right now, I'll tell you outright, it's a deflation. That is something we are heading towards, and this is what I'm seeing and reading about. You can easily Google, is a deflation coming soon, stuff like that. There's a bunch of articles, which I'll share my opinion, stuff like that. And I kind of got two good articles, which I'll put the link down below, and also kind of go through stuff that what the article said, which I liked about is gonna happen, and stuff in my computer. I'll show it. So before I kind of jump in more in details, I know if you love this video, please hit the thumbs up, because I would really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm just showing appreciation, and also help promote the video. And if you're new to this channel, go ahead and subscribe. That will be great. Yeah, let's jump into it. Let's switch the view. So yes, so this is pretty much the stuff I took out of the article, which is here. But these are two good articles which I found that really go in details and explain what could happen and what's the potential stuff that can not prevent, but businesses that can help prevent and like come out of thrive out of this, I would say. But yeah, I think this is like kind of a big thing that can happen, the deflation. And this is something we're heading towards. And this is not what I call it, there's a second wave. A lot of people are talking about that. And I think I don't really tend to focus on that, because I think even if it does happen, if you do in fact have a second wave, they will not close down the economy again, because once they start opening up, it's going to be huge progress, huge backstep closing. I don't see that happening in terms of government wise. Maybe they'll take extra precautions, but those precautions are going to cause the ripple effect of deflation, and because this we cannot keep on going, and stuff like that. So I think deflation is something that can happen, and this is something that came to my head, I would say, when I listened to the podcast of Kathy Wood, which I'll also put in the link down below. She just kind of vaguely went over it. She just mentioned she's hedging it with one of the factors is Bitcoin. She's hedging it through that, because of the deflation gonna come. People gonna be like, I do a trusted currency, and like Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, I would say, is gonna be one of the things that can happen. And major thing I would say is central banks really do not want a deflation, because that's something they really have tried really hard, and they want to kind of go against that. And last time, and we didn't have deflations for like ages. Last time it was 1929, the Great Depression, and that happened pretty much like this guy had a chart here, like we had a boom with the debt and everything, and it just pretty much crashed because of people saying, I'm not buying anymore. So what happens when you're not buying anymore? Then discounts come, price goes down, people wait for the thing, so jobs get cut. It's like kind of a domino effect that's really hard to kind of fight against, and the central banks do not want a deflation, and I think at the end we might have one. And like that's the reason we're seeing negative interest rates pretty much like in the major developed industries, and they're trying to really fight that. But I think at the end of the day, we might face that, because like as much as the Fed is pumping money and buying debt, you're buying bad debt, and those debt has to be repaid one way or another. And if it doesn't get repaid, what happens? Then the person goes out and, like example, defaults, and that also causes bad thing. And also bad debt is people buying bad assets, overvalued assets. When overvalued asset happens, and when they comes at a discount, that means it's pretty much like the scenario they gave. One good example they had in that article also was example, like company A buys a company B in a boom economy, maybe for 100 million. They funded by $75 million in debt, and at the end the company during a deflation environment goes down to 50 million, but they paid 100. That means you have like pretty much you overbought it. So that's like a huge thing, right? When you want to sell it, then you kind of repay your debt because you paid too much for it. So that kind of stuff happens and it gets devalued. Another factor thing that happened, it's also psychology, right? It's also happens in a domino effect that they mention is pretty much how they said, right? Because the whole world pretty much functions when it comes into credit. Credit is people lending money, and you have money, you go buy maybe a house, a car, a boat, and all this kind of stuff. But this happens if, as a creditor, they become more conservative, they slow lending. As potential debtors become more conservative, they borrow less or not at all. Then it's like as investors become more conservative, they commit less money to debt investments because people do buy debt investments, they become less into that. Then producers become more conservative, they reduce expansion plan, and consumers at the end also become more conservative and spend less and less and less. So this is like a ripple effect that can happen also right now, is especially in industries. People like right now are having plane tickets that initially maybe cost them maybe $300-400, now it's costing $200. And people are like, oh, I'm saving money. So it's like, so it's happening right now. Your plane ticket, which was high, is dropping. So that's going to start happening with cars, planes, and like tourists. And people are spending less and less. So more people stay home. They spend less and less and less onto those big instruments. Like people, why would they buy a big boat and stuff like that? Because they're like, oh, right now I'm not sure about my job, or even stuff like that. They're going to start going less and less and less. So that's kind of happening around the economy, and it could potentially, and I really don't want this to happen, but stuff are pointing towards that. Even we see even Warren Buffett right now himself is like right now selling some of his positions and cashing out and holding on cash, because he even have good instruments, like, you know, like recently we saw he sold on Amazon certain stocks and Amazon and stuff like that. Even Amazon as a business is doing good. They are selling because they want to hold more cash, because I think maybe himself foresees a deflation not possible, because deflation happened in the 1920s and stuff like that. So he was born after that, if I'm not wrong, but he's kind of he kind of sees it, and like he sees a similar things happening, because those kind of stuff at the end has to happen, and deflation kind of occurs. So right now all of that stuff comes out. I'll put an article, you guys can go ahead and read, but it's pretty much that. It's because the people are just pumping money and like buying junk debt, you know, and buying, and like, and also another thing is people say, oh yeah, but people are getting checks, you know, to like stimulus checks and stuff like that. But having stimulus checks does not necessarily mean that they're gonna go and buy a boat. They're gonna pay maybe their mortgage. They're not gonna go buy cars. They're not gonna go buy this. They're gonna buy the minimum that they need to survive, which is food, paying their debt, making sure they have a roof, making the minimum payments, and everything goes around correctly. So those extra curriculum stuff that they were paying, or they were treating themselves, they start cutting them down. And when they start cutting them down, those stuff goes down, and it's just a huge domino effect. And throwing money and giving money people sometimes will not prevent that, and people staying home is gonna cause even more that. That's what I think. And a couple of solutions I would say the article kind of mentioned was mainly, if you do buy a company or buying right now stocks into companies, is make sure they are very well funded. Their cash position is good, because cash is king. And like companies that have money, and when a deflation occurs, they would buy stocks or companies at an extremely devalued rate, and very good. Presumably they have money to kind of fund, and also if they do have a deflationary rate, they can kind of go and pass through this kind of crisis, or that crisis that I don't know if it occurred, but I hope not. That's why. Another thing is maybe cryptocurrency. I self do not own, but if you do guys own, that's another way. Business, like I said, have cash. And also business, I think that's saving customers money, like industry, like, you know, Walmart. Walmart is always selling stuff at a bargain price, you know, and people will maybe go to Walmart still, buy stuff at Walmart. Grocery stores that sell stuff at a discounted rate, people will cut down on expensive and luxury stuff. We'll just kind of focus on the bare minimum, and those kind of businesses like healthcare, technology, groceries, pharmacies, those kind of stuff. I put healthcare twice. But yeah, so those kind of industries will kind of be able to pass through it, but still make sure, I would say, those companies are well funded. And that's the reason I'm kind of making sure, even me, I am maybe will start pivoting my portfolio more towards that kind of ways. I make sure that kind of I'm preparing, I would say. And even then, I'm not even buying extremely stocks. Recently, I kind of really took a hold on that. But yeah, let me just switch views. Yeah, that's about it. I would say, I kind of switched from the kind of buying stocks. I really took a hold on that. But I would say even then, I'm focusing on I'm really putting a really big emphasis on the balance sheet. The company has amazing cash position, doesn't have too much debt, so they're okay, because then the debt will not be called upon to be paid, and they're not buying overvalued businesses, so they are well okay and stable and funded. So this kind of stuff I really kind of fix into the criterias when I do purchase stocks, and companies that are saving people money, because when that kind of happen, deflationary rates, because they're already saving people money, it's still not crazy instrument, but they will be able to kind of pass through it, because you see some Walmart is still saving money. You have Amazon, people like certain items on Amazon, some stuff are really expensive, some stuff is good priced. Then you have also people will go into groceries, but mostly maybe groceries that do in fact don't charge extra amount. Maybe like example, I'm using Whole Foods as an example, but like those kind of stuff, they might cut down in those kind of grocery stores, and they might go into like bulk and save money there and save money here, those kind of ways, and stuff that might happen. I really just recap, this is kind of a cautionary thing which I'm bringing on and which I'm reading about. I think that's really not mentioned a lot in the mainstream media, and I just want to kind of throw out there my idea out of information I found, which I find is very important, because I really hope that it does not occur in a year or two, but we might see it, and the chances of seeing it is increasing as we move forward. And I really hope that we kind of prevent it, and we don't enter into a deflationary rate, because in a deflationary economy is not fun for everyone, and I think it's just going to be really bad. And I really just want to kind of bring it out there, and like you guys have the information, so you know what, you can maybe act upon it, and maybe if you do like it, maybe take some precautions and stuff like that. That's something I would say to you guys. So yeah, that sums about it for this video. I know, I just want to, if you have any comments and stuff like that, gladly drop it down below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and and I know I try to help if I can. And if you love this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to this channel, and so thank you very much for watching, and I wish you guys a wonderful day. Whoosh.